Epic Games Rocket Racing. Still a very new game, but after playing it for a bit and getting to Diamond, I can confidently say that I have some good tips and tricks that would help you massively. You may already know some of these, but there definitely will be at least a few that you don't know. The first few, of course, they'll be really obvious, like the first one, the lights at the start. If you time your acceleration button exactly when the fourth light turns green, you will get a boost, and if you're really exact with the timing, then you could get 100% boost, which gives you a really good head start sometimes. Tip number 13. Yes, the sides do make you lose speed. This isn't for all maps, especially some maps. Some areas have these, some areas don't, but yeah, you have to watch out for them. Tip number 12, do not fly for too long. Driving on the ground is more speed efficient than flying, unless of course you're flying and you're boosting, then that could work on some areas. Tip number 11, drifting. I'm telling you, drifting is so important in this game. Of course, drifting does make you lose speed, but it does give you boost at the same time, and boost management in this game is so essential. So chances are you're probably not drifting enough, even on some straight roads. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's good to drift just to get some boost up. Tip number 10, don't use up your boosts. Well, at least don't use them as soon as you get them. Very big mistake, because you normally want to save your boosts. Not every time is a good time to boost. Of course, knowing when is the right time to boost will just come with practice. You're just gonna have to experiment. Number 9, what would you normally think to do after hitting a barrier? Of course, boost, right? Wrong. See, boosting when you're already quite slow, it's a big waste, because instead of just boosting straight away when you're so slow, if you just build up some speed and then boost, that boost is giving you way more speed than if you used it when you were slow. So it's just way more efficient to cover more ground. Tip number 8, regulate your drifts properly. For example, double drifting, long drifting, small little drifts. Of course, which one to use, it does come with practice. Your main goal, of course, is to not hit the sides. And I did hear from some other people that drifting is way more immediate than other racing games. I don't know, because I never played other racing games, but yeah, do watch out for that if you are a very new player in this game. Tip number 7, drafting. Not drifting, drafting. This is basically when you're behind a player, right behind them, and you get this white looking force field around your car. This basically means that you're getting some extra speed because you don't have as much air resistance, I guess. But yeah, whenever you're behind someone, try to go right behind them so you get the extra speed boost. It's also a good idea to use your boosts when you're drafting, just to get that extra speed before you boost. Tip number 6, getting past is okay. You know, some people just start panicking. Biggest mistake ever, especially if they overtake you a bit and you're right behind them. That's a perfect opportunity to get some drafting. It's not always a bad thing to get overtaken. Tip number 5, if you make a huge mistake and you're right at the back, again, don't panic. Boost ahead so you're right behind the pack. At least this way, you may not be inside the pack or ahead the pack. At least you're getting some drafting off of them. And make sure you don't just spam your boost. Again, use them at the right time. Tip number 4, I've heard some people say to practice the maps in casual instead of ranked. This is of course just personal preference, but I don't really do the casual practices. I normally just go straight to rank. It's just more fun. I'd rather just have fun while playing and learning in the game and lose a few games instead of practice all day like a maniac in casual maps and not have much fun. You know what I mean? Then again, it is personal preference, this one. Tip number 3, learn the map skips. This is so important. Some skips, if used properly, you could be at the last spot and get first. There are 2 ways of doing this. You could watch this video from Lithomir, but it is a long video. I didn't do that. What I did is just experiment in game, see where other people are going, and watch some YouTubers to see what path they take, but that's pretty much it. I didn't really watch this long video, but you could if you really wanted to. Tip number 2, watch YouTubers who are good. You know how much I've learned just by watching Lethame and some other YouTubers? Because you know, these are the people that play all day long and they're such sweats. So just watching their YouTube videos, you can learn so much. Tip number 1, this is the last one, but it is to use racing lines. You probably already know this if you've played other racing games. It's basically when there's a curve, you don't go outside the curve, you go inside to minimize the distance you have to travel. Might seem complicated to some of you, but it's really not. This image, for example, you wouldn't want to use the red path because you can clearly see it's way longer than the green path. That's basically what racing lines are. Oh, by the way guys, I will post more rocket racing videos, so subscribe for that.